Lesson 1.3, dealing with thousandths. Let's start off by reviewing some of the things we already know. We know that we have our tens position, our ones position, and then once we get to the decimal point, our numbers become less than 1, and we have tenths, hundredths, and now today we're going to go one step further and go to thousandths. All right, let's take a look at how we use these words. How are we going to say this stuff? Well, we already know that this is 3 tens and 1 1, so we're going to call this 31. The decimal point we're going to read as and here's how we use the rest of it. I circled this in black. Everything after the decimal we say as one number, and this is going to be our numerator. So we're going to say 31 and 572, and then look what we do. We use the place value of the last digit as your denominator. So we look at the last digit, which is here. The place value is thousandths, so our denominator is going to be 1,000. So we have 31 and 572 thousandths. 31 and 572 thousandths. That's how we're going to read this, and when we do a little bit more practice, you'll get a chance to see a little more. Let's revisit some equivalent fractions. And again, equivalent kind of sounds like equal, and it kind of means that too. So let's look at 3/5. If I want an equivalent fraction, I need to find something else that's going to be equal. So if I take my denominator and try to make that a little bit easier to deal with, and try to make it like a 10 or 100. So to make that 10, I can multiply that by 2. But if I multiply this by 2, I got to do that to this one also, right? If I do it to the denominator, I need to make it equal and do it to the numerator. So I multiply both of them by 2, and I get 6/10. So 3/5 and 6/10 are equivalent fractions. What would 6/10 be in decimal form? Maybe pause the video and take a look. Right, it would be 0.6. We know that there's only going to be one digit after the decimal point because we have tenths. And tenths is the first digit after the decimal point. Here's a little trick. There's 1 0. So there's one digit. Let's look at this next one. We have 21/25. I know to get to 100 for my denominator, I would need to multiply by 4. I can think of this as quarters, and there are 4 quarters in a dollar. So I multiply both my numerator and my denominator by 4, and I get 84 hundredths. What do you think that's going to be as a decimal form? Right, it would be 0.84. I have 2 zeros, so I need 2 digits. Let's do some practice. If I have 0.321, I want to find out what that is as a fraction. So we look at it, and it's going to be 321 thousandths. I know that I need to have 3 zeros because I have 3 digits. And again, I could look back at my first chart over here, and the third digit is in the thousandths. So I know my denominator is going to be thousandths. I take everything after the decimal point, 321, and I put it over the place value, which is the thousandths. So 321 thousandths. Let's look at this next one. 5.99. What is that going to be? Right, it's going to be 5 and 99 hundredths. Since I have 2 digits after the decimal point, I'll have 2 zeros right there. Let's look at number 3. 2.008. Again, I take the number after the decimal point, which is just 8, and I put it over the place value, which is tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So I have my whole number is 2, so I have 2 and 8 thousandths. Now let's kind of do the reverse of this. Take